Half hour. It's time for the national news and world events and all that sort of thing. And here with it is Charles McCord. Good morning, Chuck.
Morning, I-Man. Big story, and the one that Mr. Insana will address in further detail is the Time Warner deal. Time Warner, the world's largest media and entertainment company, and America Online, the world's largest provider of Internet access, announcing they will, in fact, merge in an all-stock deal valued at $350 billion. And AOL's chairman and chief executive, Steve Case, is expected to become the chairman of the merged company. And Time Warner's chairman and chief executive, Gerald Levin, would be chief executive. Case they've issued a press release as this is a historic moment in which new media has truly come of age. The transaction uniting a major media conglomerate and a leading Internet company.
Here from CNBC is Ron Insana to try to explain this. So, good morning, Mr. Insana.
Good morning, Mr. Imus.
So does this mean that Steve Case is going to be Gerald Levin's boss?
Yeah. Technically, that would be the case. Now, the chairman's position in any company is always interesting. I mean, while you do necessarily, become the leading strategic thinker in the firm, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have direct control of day-to-day operations. It's hard to say what exactly the structure will be. In some other mergers like this one, there have been agreements to flip-flop roles after 2 or 3 years, but that doesn't seem to be the case here, or at least that's not been disclosed if there's any plan like that. But Steve Case has been in the past truly a visionary thinker when it comes to the development of the Internet and these new media that rely on computers and other appliances to access the Internet. But right now it looks like Jerry Levin, who runs Time Warner, will continue running the day-to-day operations. Steve Case will be chairman of the board.
So what does this mean exactly?
Well, this is a blockbuster deal. I mean, this is the first time where, and you'll notice in the press release, the company's going to be called AOL Time Warner. It's going to trade under the ticker symbol AOL. This is the first time that...
You're kidding.
No, I'm not. That's the Wall Street Journal report this morning, exactly how they have it laid out. This puts AOL in a very prominent position inside of Time Warner, and it represents the first time that a company like this will be fully integrated into a traditional media company like Time Warner, which itself is vertically integrated. Time Warner has obviously cable television properties. It has publishing and magazines. It has a whole host of entertainment operations, a large movie studio, television production. AOL, of course, internet service provider, big content provider on the Internet. It's a proprietary network that charges people $21.95 a month to get on the system. So this is the first large-scale integration of these two old and new media type companies that we've ever seen, and it's going to probably touch off a wave of consolidation, and it's going to set other traditional media companies scrambling to do deals of their own.
Now, the rumor was it was going to be CBS.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the last, let's say, 18 months or so, that's what had been bandied about on Wall Street, that, AOL is talking to CBS and that there's some kind of deal coming down the pike. Didn't turn out that way. Time Warner, which, rivals a combined CBS Viacom in size, has, been pretty aggressive in the new media arena with various forms of Internet access through cable television and that type of thing.
This is analogous to, give me another merger that this would...
Well, AOL is large, the largest of its type. This, and now let's say the Microsoft network, for instance, is AOL's largest kind of content rival. This would be as if, I don't know, if Microsoft and NBC did something more directly than just the joint venture of MSNBC and MSNBC.com. I'm trying to think who else. Earthspring and MindLink, which recently...
That's fine. No, you think about it and call us back.
No.
No, that's okay. Hate to ask you these. What's the matter?
AOL does not have a rival
He's doing the very best he can to explain
you're asking me these questions. He's stumped, and let's not go on to...
No, I'm not stumped. AOL does not have a competitor that is remotely equal to its size.
There'll be a press conference at 11 o'clock.
Yes.
And you may want to be there.
Well, no doubt I'll be watching it. No, all I was trying to come up with was an Internet company that's close to AOL in breadth and scope, and at the moment there isn't one that's that big.
Well, maybe the Zen Master wasn't interested in ceding a lot of power to Steve Case. That might have...
Well, he's got his hands filled with Sumner Redstone right now. But this, what's going to happen
I think
is...
that's going to be a big problem, by the way.
Yeah.
You want to find out how that works, I'll talk to the people at Westinghouse.
Give Michael Jordan a call.
Well, whatever. But huge deal, and a lot bigger deal than we thought an hour ago, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the combined companies will have a market value of $350 billion. So this is not a small transaction. Now, it is interesting the way in which it's being accounted for is that Time Warner shareholders who are involved with a company that has a smaller market value than AOL will get 1.5 shares of the new company, while AOL shareholders will get 1 share for each share they own of the new firm. So it's a pretty potent combination. The real question is, what do the other big media companies do? So they're going to have to go out there. You know, NBC has gotten involved with CNET and Zoom and Snap. You have ABC, which has a host of internet properties as well under the Disney banner. So everybody's going to begin now staking out territory to make sure that they don't get left behind as the two different types of media converge.
Well, the most startling is that it'll be called America Online Time Warner, apparently, and it will trade under the symbol AOL.
Yeah, absolutely.
God.
That is shocking. And now it's also interesting, Bob Pittman, who is the president of AOL and AOL's content divisions, used to be an employee at Time Warner. So they did not specify in the story this morning as to what Mr. Pittman's role will be, but he joined AOL a couple years ago and helped to turn the company around and solve some of the capacity problems that they had, where phone lines used to go down because AOL was just being flooded with people trying to get on their proprietary service. They turned that process around a couple years ago and have since grown astronomically. He added advertising, he broadened the content base, and has allowed for e-commerce initiatives to be undertaken at the company. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. Mr. Pittman used to work for Six Flags, which was the theme park division of Warner Brothers many years ago. So that's interesting political development there, too.
Before that used to be at MTV, and
Yep. Yeah,
before
exactly.
that used to be at NBC Radio.
Yeah, and Century 21 Realty for a while.
And unfortunately, is still trying to get over having made the grievous error of marrying Sandy Pittman, but apparently that's been resolved now.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
She's going up another mountain to kill
That's
more
right.
people or whatever.
Well,
That's an unfortunate
That
way
is
to
horrible.
characterize that.
No.
That would be.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks, Ron. Ron and Sana, CNBC. It's 12 minutes after the hour. Would like to make it clear Sandy Pittman didn't kill anyone.
No.
It's just
That's an unfortunate
yeah, it's an
thing.
unfortunate characterization of all that. But well, is Claire Shipman on the phone?
She is holding, yes.
Okay.
I am.
She's a White House correspondent along with David Bloom for NBC News. How are you this morning?
I'm fine. How are you?
Well,
Okay.
Oh, God, what did I
Okay.
ask, huh?
have you read Jeffrey Toobin's Vast Conspiracy?
I haven't. I
Oh,
haven't.
well,
Have
I
you, were
mean-
you reading that?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you've got to read it.
I will write it down.
You know, because it clarifies the roles everyone played in the presidential sex scandal, and it reveals Ken Starr and that group of buffoons to be so incompetent that I was explaining how incompetent they all apparently were in the estimation of Jeffrey Toobin to my friend Mike Lupica. That Lupica said it's a wonder that Ken Starr didn't hire Marcia Clark and Chris Darden. I mean, that's how screwed up they were.
You know, I've tried to put some distance between myself and the last 2 years, so maybe in another few months I'll feel ready to read about it. I can't
Well-
believe you want to dive back into it.
Well, it's fascinating because
it is,
only
yeah.
because it's Jeffrey Toobin and because
Oh, right.
you know it's not somebody trying to cash in apparently on one of these
No, he knows what
aftermath
he's-
books
yeah.
and stuff. It's
He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, so-
He really does. So this merger stuff is fascinating, huh?
Lucianne Goldberg, for example, is threatening apparently to sue Mr. Toobin for Mr. Toobin suggesting that at one time in days past she apparently slept with Lyndon Johnson. But Bernard made the observation this morning that it should be Lyndon Johnson's estate filing suit. So,
Oh, boy, all because I asked, how you're doing this morning.
and what an ugly situation it was watching Bullwinkle and Bubba there in front of their house up in Chappaqua trying to clarify the night that they'd spent there. Man, what an uneasy moment, or a few moments that was.
Yeah.
God.
The thing is, I've moved on, really, from the White House to your other favorite personality, Al Gore.
My new man, Al.
Your
Yeah,
new man.
My man, Al, yeah.
Safer territory, since he's so popular with you now, I figure.
Yeah.
He's got it made.
How is he doing?
Well, he's doing better. He's going to New York today, or he's in New York. In fact, he's going to chair a UN Security Council meeting today. One of the many perks of his office, that he can ask the UN ambassador to step aside so he can do that and talk about AIDS in Africa. But after that, he's back out to Iowa on the campaign trail, and trying to get over. I'm sure you were watching last week this issue that's been dogging him over gays in the military and his apparent flip-flop that his aides are insisting was not a flip-flop.
And he had some stooge on Meet the Press with Tim Russert trying to weasel him out of that deal. But God.
Yeah, they're having a hard time explaining it because they keep insisting that he didn't change his position, but he clearly said one thing in one debate and then decided he needed to clarify it. It's a subtle difference, but it's very important whether you're going to ask your senior military appointees to actually agree with your political positions or simply implement your policy. But I'll tell you, Republicans have already seized on this. They already have an ad, I think it's going on the air today, saying, call Al Gore, tell him the only litmus test ought to be patriotism. And I think that both for Bradley and Gore, whoever's the nominee, this is going to be a big issue in the general election.
Well, here's a bulletin. Al Gore is not going to be president, but here's what's distressing about that, is that there's a possibility that nitwit that George Bush will be. God, and with every debate, you watch these Republican debates? Of course you do.
I've been watching them, yeah.
Man, I mean, is there a denser dork on the planet? It's like one of these light bulbs that's about ready to go out on you. It just keeps getting dimmer and dimmer, and
I don't get involved in that sort of analysis. And in fact,
he seems so pleased when he's able just to absolutely complete a sentence. It's just like there's this great sigh of relief that washes over him when he's able to actually complete a thought. I'm sure he's a nice guy and all that.
Most people think George W. had a very good week last week, in fact.
Well,
McCain, it was a rough week for McCain.
Well, yeah.
But don't you think?
I don't think McCain should be doing penis jokes in debates, do you? I mean, what is he thinking about? Mine's bigger than yours, right? I mean, hello?
But that's the fascinating thing about McCain is he just doesn't edit himself, and that's why that's why people like him. That's why you like him.
Mine's bigger than yours? Well, I don't want him to do that.
You know what the problem is? He's been on your show once too often, and he feels entirely too comfortable talking now.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
How's everything else with you?
Well, things are fine. Thank you for asking.
Things still holding up. What's the guy's name you married?
That guy. Let's see if you can remember.
Art Carney.
No, it's not Art Carney.
Art Carney.
His name is
Jay Carney.
Jay Carney.
Right.
That's all still on the front burner.
I want to call him this morning and find out if he had early word about this Time Warner deal that I didn't.
And didn't tell us.
That he didn't tell me about. Because I didn't know anything about it.
All right.
Fascinating.
Thanks, Claire.
My pleasure.
Claire Shipman, who is she's a White House correspondent for NBC News, but she's really kind of shifted her focus now to covering Gore's campaign. Yeah. And doing a fine job of that, by the way. It is 18 after the hour. The Imus Morning Business Report is sponsored by the New York Stock Exchange, and this whole news cast has been about the Time Warner America Online merger that's being announced this morning. There'll be a news conference at 11 o'clock. America Online will open this morning at $73.75. Time Warner at $64.75. And the way we understand it, as explained to us by Ron and Santa from CNBC, is that the companies will merge, and Steve Case, who's currently the head of America Online, will in effect become the chairman of this new company called America Online Time Warner, and that Gerald Levin will be the chief executive officer and apparently responsible for the continued day-to-day operation of now both companies. But you would think he would need some input from somebody over there at America Online just to know how to get through, for example. I guess they've solved those problems, but
I believe they have. To a reasonable degree.
The problem is that at some point this whole thing is going to blow up.
They're
all going to discover that the Amazon.coms of the world and all of these other companies are not making any money, and
that you can't continue in that mode forever.
Yeah, it's just like we're talking to Trump. It's not something you can't put your hands on. Maybe you don't need to anymore, but there are still some people who think that's the case. Anyway, that's been the business report, and talking to Ron and Santa and Charles and Claire Shipman and everybody else about this big merger. So there'll be more details about it, and try to make some sort of sense of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it isn't as though, Time Warner has bought some company. It's a legitimate merger in which apparently America Online becomes the guiding force in this new company.
Would seem to be.
Time Warner and America Online shares have already gone up 20% in Germany this morning.
Oh, my God.
So
Jawohl.
if you were in on that at that point. Now, some time ago, my brother had this 55 Cameo pickup restored for me by Keenan and Cleet down there at Street Rods USA in El Paso, Texas. And it's a gorgeous, fully restored, ground-up restored pickup that has even the door jams and stuff are like a Rolls Royce. You know how sometimes when you open the thing and there's this rough, there's none of that.
Yeah.
But there's no opportunity to drive it and stuff. So I casually mentioned on the air a while back that I would sell it. It was for sale in the Autobody Express catalog for $75,000, and I said that I would sell it for $100,000 and that you could make the check out to the ranch. So a guy calls me, a guy by the name of William Bosse, I guess his name is, B-A-U-C-E. Lives out in, I don't know where the hell he lives. Rancho Santa Fe, California. And he says, I want to buy your truck.
Mm-hmm.
I said, fine, send me a check. Thinking it's just some whack job on the phone.
Oh, just getting rid of the phone call.
Just getting rid of the phone call.
Sure.
The conversation didn't last over 15 seconds, and that's not an exaggeration. And the general length of telephone conversations that I have with anyone is about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Never more than 2 minutes. Rarely more. And so the guy sent me a check for $100,000.
So there you go.
Made out to the Imus Ranch. Now when the check clears, I'll send him a truck.
15 seconds was enough.
Hey, tell Kara or Dana one of them, I got to get a hold of this outfit called the Horseless Carriage people.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or call Chris Vitucci or somebody. I have to go. They're the only people you can have. It's safe to have something shipped with.
Move the
Outfit
car.
called Horseless Carriage. You ever heard of them?
Of course I have.
Yeah, they're great.
Sure.
They're a great company.
Yes, it is. I know it.
And the money's going to the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy gets this pickup. That's actually worth about $50,000.
Yeah.
Or maybe more, actually.
In that condition and that kind of a restoration, probably.
But he gets a tax deduction because it's a 501c3 public foundation, the Imus Ranch, so you can write it all off. Pretty good deal for the guy, huh?
It's a pretty good deal for the guy. Good deal.
I don't have to worry about going up there and starting it every 6 weeks. It's a shame nobody's driving it, really is.
Well, of course it is. It's gorgeous.
It's 23 after the hour. We're going to talk with Joe Queenan, who's got a very funny article in the current issue of GQ about people who just based on their face make us want to punch them.
Yeah. Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here's Bill from White Plains. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, I-Man. My heart is breaking. Breen's leaving.
Yeah.
I have a perfect replacement.
Oh, you do?
Me. I know all the right things to say.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I-Man, play another cut from that Dixie Chick CD. Or I could say, what an interesting story about your son Wyatt. And then there's another one.
Yeah.
Wow, that's the best belt buckle I've ever seen.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
And here's what the president had to say about the experience of being with his wife in their new house.
It's exciting. We're seeing some things we haven't seen since we moved to the White House, and some things we haven't seen 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like each other's genitals.
Hey, Hill, look at this.
In the morning. They're visionaries who saw that information would be even more important.
You want to get rid of pork in Washington, stop feeding the hog.
At the beginning of the show. No, I don't, because I have never launched a personal negative attack, and I never will.
The presidential race gets serious, and MSNBC is your place to find out more about the issues and the candidates, with complete coverage of the Iowa caucus, the critical New Hampshire primary, and the entire primary season. For the experience, the perspective and analysis of NBC News, turn to MSNBC, your place to follow the race.
We know you want to do more with your photos. Now you can on a Gateway Essential PC that includes a digital camera and the software you need to bring people closer together. All for $39 a month with an Intel Celeron processor. Call 1-800-GATEWAY.
We started out a pretty small business, but it sure wasn't small to us. We needed help, financial help. That's just what we got from the people at American Express Small Business Services. We got equipment financing for bigger stoves and faster computers, a line of credit to keep our cash flow flowing, plus the buying power to help our business grow. 1-800-SUCCESS was the best call we ever made. Like my father says, you can do anything you set your mind to, but you can't do it alone. He's right.
And hold, and release. And now take a journey to a beautiful, happy place. And Debbie, where are you? In a beautiful garden. Brad?
I'm on a sandy beach.
Richard?
I'm at my computer trading stocks on Ameritrade for $8.
$8? Flat rate?
$8.
I'm off the beach. I'm trading stocks.
I'm getting real-time quotes.
Good.
I just bought stock. I sold a stock.
Very positive.
I'm getting an email alert.
Can I change to Ameritrade? Alive.
I'm trading on my web phone.
You're lighting up. I want to do a headstand.
Oh, that's weird. It's your body. It's natural.
Get back on your mat, Brad.
Open your cash account by February 29th with $500 and get a 50% rebate on your first month's commissions up to 20 equity trades. Visit Ameritrade.com. Ameritrade. Believe in yourself.
Join Club Ramada now, and every cool dip in our pool, every chill drink on our menu, every cozy night in our rooms will be even more rewarding. Club Ramada is free to join, and every dollar you spend will take you closer to great rewards like free nights, free flights, and free fun stuff for the whole family. Join Club Ramada, and earning great rewards will be easier than ever. For reservations, call 1-800-2-RAMADA or at ramada.com on the internet.
At ZDNet, we'll help you get more out of technology.
Mars. Hey, Mars. Mars.
ZDNet.com, where technology takes you.
Rule.
2000 Seville STS. More than just a pretty face. Enhanced with StabiliTrack 2.0, it handles superbly on dry roads, wet roads, and outperforms BMW, Lexus, and Mercedes-Benz. On ice. Seville STS, sleek styling and powerful control. The power of and, the fusion of design and technology. Cadillac.
So, you've managed to point and click your way into too much debt.
Why not point and click your way out of debt with a second mortgage from Ditech.com? Whether you have equity or no equity, good credit or not so good credit, Ditech has a second mortgage with absolutely no closing costs to help you lower your monthly payments now. So point and click your way out of high-interest, non-tax deductible credit card debt at Ditech.com.
Or call us at 1-800-71-FIXED. Ditech.com.
Joe Queenan is the author of, among other books, when we first became aware of him, I believe, when he wrote the book that was just screamingly funny. If you're talking to me, your career must be in trouble. And then he wrote, then he did this movie himself. Remember he made this movie himself, and he had his kids in it, and one of his kids quit on him, and it's called The Unkindest Cut. And then he wrote a book called How Bad Can It Be, in which he immersed himself in essentially the pop culture. He went to Red Lobster, he went to see Cats. He took in a John Tesh concert, and he wrote about, well, he wrote How Bad Could It Be, and it was awful. So, and now he has a new book that I don't know the title of, but it's going to be published in February. He'll tell us in a minute. Mr. Queenan writes for a number of publications, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, GQ, movie magazines. He's a regular columnist, I believe, for TV Guide. Please welcome him to this program now, Joe Queenan. Good morning, Mr. Queenan.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very well.
I pick up the Sunday New York Times book review, and I see a review that you have written about Carl Hyacint's new book.
A very favorable review.
Yes, it was. It was a favorable. Mr. Hyacinth is a novelist who writes books about hideous people in Florida.
Right.
But when you got into comparing him to Elmore Leonard, I didn't think Mr. Hyacinth came off that well. But
well, I thought that Carl Hyacint's books are really long,
yeah,
and Elmore Leonard's books are short, and they also have bigger print, which is important to me at my advanced age. So that has a lot to do with the kind of review that I do. I mean, if it's big print and not that many words and it's really funny, then you get a good review. That's the way it works. But I thought it was a very favorable review all around, and it was a pretty funny book. As is, I have 2 new books.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I have a sequel to that book, If You're Talking to Me, Your Career Must Be in Trouble, which is called Confessions of a Cineplex Heckler, which is a bunch of stories that I've written about the movies. One of them, I don't know.
Is that out, or when will it be out?
Oh, yeah, it's out now.
It is?
The pub date's February, but they're in stores now. There's that one.
What's it called again?
It's called Confessions of a Cineplex Heckler. And it has a lot of stories that I've written about the movies. There's one in there where, I timed how long Leonardo DiCaprio lasted in the water in Titanic, and I went into the Long Island Sound fully dressed in March with a stopwatch to prove that you couldn't do it. He lasted 8 minutes. I lasted 47 seconds. And the other thing is, he talked the whole time.
Yeah.
I didn't do any talking at all. And I did a bunch of things. There's a scene in Conspiracy Theory where Mel Gibson goes down 2 flights of stairs in a wheelchair. I tried to do that. You can't. It just kids, if you're listening, don't pay any attention to the stuff they got in the movies. And another thing that I did was, did you see In and Out with Kevin Kline?
No.
Well, it's a movie where there's a thing where he finds out that he's gay because he dances to, Gloria Leonard's song. I dance to that song. I'm not gay. That proves, so don't, again. But the new book is called My Goodness, A Cynic's Short-Lived Search for Sainthood. And that's about, last year I spent 6 months trying to be a good person, just like Susan Sarandon. I spent 6 whole months trying to be a good person. And I practiced random acts of kindness and senseless acts of beauty. That's why I wasn't on your show all that time, because I was trying to be nice. In fact, the last time I was on was your book awards.
Was it?
Yeah.
That was a year ago.
Yeah, I'm surprised I'm back because the awards are defunct now, right?
Yes.
Or they've gone on hiatus?
No, they're over because I'm not going to go through that again. Because I insisted on reading the books.
Yeah.
And that was not a wise decision.
Well, the thing that I'm glad that you stopped the awards, because now I can stop my awards. Because I did actually set up my own awards foundation after the awards. Because first there was the announcement that the Haitian woman had won the prize, and then it turns out that the numbers were wrong. And I said on the air that I would set up my own foundation to give $1,000 to whoever got screwed out of their $50,000 every year. So I actually set up my own foundation called the Joe Queen and Don Imus American Book Awards Rectification Institute, and I sent the woman $1,000, and she sent it back.
Somebody actually accused me of racism because I had nothing to do with tabulating the votes, and somebody handed me the wrong piece of paper.
Yep.
Right.
And I announced the woman won.
Right.
And then somebody comes running in a few minutes later and hands me another piece of paper saying, no, we made a mistake, and in the perception of some people, that I had given the award and realized, oh God, this woman's from Haiti, I can't give her the award, so I took it back. It was so ridiculous that it was.
Well, guess what happened there, okay? After I announced that I was going to give $1,000 to that woman, Philip Noble, the guy who's always giving you a hard time, called me up, and he said, he went through the whole thing about, is Imus a racist? What are you going to have to say? I blew him off. Then he said, are you going to give the money to the woman? And I said, yeah. And he goes, when? And I said, well, my foundation can't be pressured by somebody like you. So
you can't get a job, by the way.
He called me back several times. So finally, he finally said to me, are you the kind of person who Welshes on your promises? I said, it's interesting that you should use the term Welsh because it's offensive to every man, woman, and child in the great country of Wales.
Yeah.
So in any case, I told him, if you promise me that you will never call me again, I'll send the woman $1,000. And I did.
This was a guy, by the way. Then she sent the money back.
She sent the money back, yeah.
Philip Noble is a guy who goes around he calls people, and he tries to get me in trouble, which is just ludicrous. Anyway, he calls people, and he tells them he's writing an article for the New York Times so that people like Mike Wallace and others, so that he gets them to talk to him.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, why don't I just call the New York Times and find out if he's writing an article? Well, he's not writing an article. But, I mean, it's like I'm writing an article for the New York Times. Yes, I can write one, but they don't know about it.
But the other
so he's not writing an article for anybody.
But the other thing that he does is he calls you up and he wants you to say on tape, I hate that guy Imus. He's a racist.
Yeah.
He's and which is if you want to sell some books, that's a great idea. I noticed Brokaw didn't do that.
It's 25 till the hour. We're talking with Joe Queenan from. Well, his current article, and first of all, back to the Confessions. That's an awful title because I can't. You've told me 3 times, I still can't remember it.
Well, you can never remember the titles to my books.
I know, but they're starting to get like. What's the guy who passed away down there in the South? He used to have those.
The esoteric.
Louis Grizzard?
Yeah, Louis Grizzard.
Is he dead?
Yes.
Oh, that's one less person I got to worry about. I had no idea.
Shoot low boys that ride Shetland ponies, or Elvis is dead and I don't feel so good myself. I mean, he had some good titles, but.
Well, I think My Goodness is a good title.
His titles were great. His books were not that great. Your titles suck, but your books are great. So.
Well, that's the title of my next book. The book title sucks, but the book is great.
Anyway, it's What is it again now?
Forget the collection. We don't care about that.
I want to read it. What are you talking about?
They already sent it to you. What's going on?
Where is the book, Bernard?
We haven't seen it.
We haven't seen any book.
Well, you'll get them.
Okay.
Confessions of the Cineplex Heckler. That's a story about how I went into movies for about 3 weeks and sat behind people making noise to see if somebody would punch me out.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I remember you telling me about that.
Right,
yeah.
and somebody actually, Bill Maher from Politically Incorrect, I heard that he actually did confront somebody and he got punched out. But I only had one incident where there was a guy who was about 6'4". I was talking during Indecent Proposal, and he came around and he said, shut up or I'll break your expletive deleted space. Well, he was 6'4". Of course I shut out.
Yeah.
But most of the people in front of you are going to be about 5'4", and they're going to be female. In any case, the new book is called My Goodness, and it's just about practicing virtue. And one of the things that I did was Linda Tripp sent me a letter. Her legal defense fund sent me a letter, 12-page letter saying that things had gotten so bad that she couldn't even shop for her groceries in privacy. Right. So I thought, as a random act of kindness, that I should send her a box of groceries. So I sent her a huge box of groceries to the Legal Defense Fund, including all low-fat, incidentally. And I sent her some St. John's wort tea, which is good for the treatment of depression, because she seems to be down lately. She never sent me a thank you note.
I've just been reading Jeffrey Toobin's A Vast Conspiracy. And, all of the time, Linda Tripp said that the reason she was taping Monica Lewinsky was because she felt that she wanted to protect herself, and she thought she was going to be, or she had been subpoenaed, or was going to be subpoenaed, was going to have to testify, and that Monica Lewinsky was trying to get her to lie. None of that was true. None of that was true. She taped her because she was doing a book with Lucy Ann Goldberg. That's at least Mr. Toobin's assertion. So she's even a worse person than we thought she was.
I wrote her a letter and basically said, unless the Gambinos are on the phone, you shouldn't tape conversations. And you also shouldn't have, you should pre-clear it with the FBI. Now, she's going to go down in history as one of the worst people of all time.
But even worse than we suspected.
Well, how anybody who tapes their best friend's telephone calls, we pretty much know what kind of person they are. Is she a Democrat or a Republican? I could never figure that out.
Me either. And according to Mr. Toobin, who's going to be on tomorrow, by the way, the level of incompetence in Ken Starr's office rises to the point that I was telling Lupica about it, and he said it's amazing they didn't hire Marcia Clark and Chris Darden.
Yeah, Marcia Clark, that's great, though. But Marcia Clark got a job out of that deal. Didn't she get she got a TV deal out of losing the least losable case in history?
Well, I think that's blown up on her, though. So. Anyway, Mr. Queenan has an article in the current issue of GQ about people who simply, based on the way their face looks, make us want to punch them. What's that all about?
Well, it's called Face Facts, okay? Yeah. And basically the story is this. People say that they hate Bobby Valentine because he stabs his players in the back and because he hates the press and because of this and that. You just hate the guy's face. You just flat out hate the guy's face. The way he sets his teeth, the way he arches the eyebrows, you just hate the guy's face. And I started to think of all these people in this country that people will tell you they dislike for some ideological reason, but it doesn't have anything to do with that. Why do you hate Pat Robertson? Because he's got that village idiot's grin on his face. I mean, it's just revolting. Why do people hate Geraldo? The mustache and the glasses. It doesn't work. Why? Remember Danny Ainge?
Of course.
You just hate the guy's face, and it doesn't have anything to do with what the person stands for, but what the. And I just think we'd be a whole lot healthier if, as a society, if we just came out, not the way John Rocker did, perhaps. But if we just came out and said, I just hate the guy's face. I don't hate the person because of what they believe, because of where they live, because of how they spend their money. I just hate looking at that person. I mean, and you know, one of the things is, if you dislike somebody, you can that face is offensive to you, but other people can't see it. For example, when I was working on the story, and I mentioned to people, who's got a face that you really hate? A lot of people said G.E. Smith. Remember the guitarist from Saturday Night Live?
Sure.
But that was just guitar face. That was like a rictus. That was something that was going on there. But a lot of people mentioned Jimmy Carter. A lot of people mentioned Rudy Giuliani, which I don't understand, because that's more hatred of the hair than hatred of the actual face, or hatred of what he. I don't see it. A lot of people feel this way about Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton tucks his tongue into his cheek, and he's got that sort of smarmy, I'm getting away with something look. Doesn't bother me. I voted for the guy.
Same with George W. Bush for that smirk, kind of. Wouldn't you still like to wipe that off of his face?
Would I personally like to wipe it off his face? I'm not going to say that, because he's going to be the next president of the United States, and I want to stay on his good side. In fact, that's the only thing that I care about here. You know, you were mentioning earlier about getting the Cronkite thing, about getting Steve Forbes out of the race.
Yeah.
I used to work for Forbes magazine, and Steve Forbes sent me a handwritten personal note. If he becomes elected president of the United States, that's going to be worth about $1,000. So that's all I care about. And my political convictions run no further than that. I don't have anything on paper from anybody else. So please lay off Steve Forbes for a while. I mean, if he gets the vice presidential nod, it could be like $25. Anything. Anything.
He's not going to get anything, no. See, that's the problem. Yeah. Your note's going to be worth nothing. So.
Yeah.
My Goodness will be out when?
It's out now, sort of. It's in bookstores. It's in bookstores, but it's not in your office yet. I'll make sure they send you some copies.
Joe, it's always nice to talk with you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Joe
Queenan here on the I'm Summer program. His new book is called My Goodness, and it's about, well, trying to be good.
That's right.
Which is apparently
a 6-month effort that didn't work out.
Yeah, the random acts of kindness and so on. Joe Queenan. And living on some other planet, you have probably heard about all the amazing health benefits attributed to green tea. The only problem is most green teas do not taste very good. That's why I want to tell you about Bigelow Green.
A better life, is it something you have or something you build? At American General Financial Group, 50,000 men and women helped 12 million Americans build a bigger future with retirement services, investments, life insurance, and consumer loans. At American General, the future starts today. American General Financial Group. Live the life you've imagined.
Ever wonder why the Sunday paper is so huge? Could it be because we have more free time on Sunday? Now Sprint gives a little free phone time on Sunday, too. 1 hour free every Sunday night with Sprint Nickel Nights. Just call 1-877-4-NIGHTS now and switch to Sprint Nickel Nights. You'll get 1 hour of free calls every Sunday night for the next 6 months. And with Sprint Nickel Nights, you'll also get that great 5 cents a minute rate all night long, every night of the week. 1 hour free Sunday nights. It's Sprint's way of giving you free calls for when you have free time. You know, for catching up on all the really important news. Family, friends, life. Communications makes more sense at the point of contact. Read the paper all day, talk on the phone all night. Sounds like a perfectly sensible plan to me. Get 1 hour free every Sunday night and pay just 5 cents a minute every night of the week. Call 1-877-4-NIGHTS and switch to Sprint Nickel Nights.
I like to live big. I like big surprises, big dreams.
Introducing the innovative new GE Spectra.
Big healthy babies.
It's so big it holds a turkey, 2 casseroles, and 3 loaves of bread.
I like to entertain, big time.
Or 288 hors d'oeuvres, or 12 perfect pies.
I love having a whole house full of people.
GE Spectra, the biggest, most accurate oven in America. It cooks big inside and out.
Most of all, I like the big smiles that I get when I cook big.
Cook big with the incredible new GE Spectra.
Big.
Oh, I feel like I'm 18 again.
Yeah, me too. You'd think I'd feel awful after blowing our retirement money.
What?
Yeah, it's gone.
All of it?
Yeah, I decided to invest our money by myself.
What are we gonna live on?
Hey, fresh air, sunshine, what else do we need? You know, money is highly overrated.
Next time, don't go it alone. Ask your financial advisor about the funds so many financial experts choose. Alliance Capital, the investment professional's choice.
Before I quit smoking, I asked my doctor, is Nicorette safe? And he said, of course Nicorette is safe. Smoking is not. Nicorette has been proven safe and effective in dozens of clinical trials. And Nicorette offers the Committed Quitter Support Program, which my doc said is clinically proven to increase my chances of success by up to 50%. And when he told me that only Nicorette comes in mint, I knew that that was the right choice for me. So I took my doctor's advice, and you know what? It worked.
You can do it. Nicorette can help.
You have better things to do than go to the drugstore. Let the drugstore come to you. Drugstore.com.
We've had success with that.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Our company's made huge strides in e-commerce.
No, who hasn't?
We've got web-based order tracking. We can analyze our customer data in all kinds of ways. I mean, it's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the same with us.
Yeah. So how did you guys integrate your ERP?
Herp? Confused about e-business? Don't be. Get the software, services, and partners that make it easier. The business internet starts with Microsoft.
Inside, he's in. Touchdown, Miami. They have their first lead of the contest.
Dolphins get it done on the road. Good morning. Mike Breen with Sports. Joel Myers the call. This sportscast sponsored by Cosmo.com. Visit them on the web at KOZMO.com. Miami winning in Seattle 20-17. Seahawks the only home team this weekend to lose. Their quarterback is John Kitna. He looked at the loss as a positive.
Now we got a taste. We understand what the coaches want. They understand what they have as players. And now we got a full off season to work together. You know, this is a good building block for us.
Nothing like building on losses where you can't move the football. Their only score in the second half was a kickoff return for a touchdown. Minnesota beat Dallas 27-10. Viking fans taking joy in knocking out the once mighty Cowboys. Dallas running back Emmitt Smith was asked if they're satisfied with at least making the playoffs.
I'm not satisfied with anything. You know, how can you be satisfied? I mean, how can you be satisfied? You constantly got people calling your names and saying you suck, and how can you be satisfied?
Cowboys a bitter team right now.
Ooh. Yeah, well, you do suck.
Good.
Yeah.
And you're done.
Of course,
you suck and you're done.
You're over.
Maybe there is a God.
Of course, the big play Saturday everyone's still talking about, the kickoff return that gave Tennessee a win over Buffalo.
No.
Here's the call.
No.
You're not talking about it?
No. Were we talking about that?
We've moved past that.
No, we're past that. But go ahead.
Here's the call on CBS Radio. John Rooney making an attempt to make the call, but Matt Millen not letting him.
Here's a high, short kick. And it is going to be fielded by Lorenzo Neal. And he's
excellent! Unbelievable!
And here come the Titans.
Unbelievable!
And running all the way down the left sideline, Dyson took a lateral and goes the pass and goes all the way for the score with 3 seconds left.
Unbelievable!
If you're listening on the radio, you have no idea what happened. None.
God, they're awful.
He's got a screen. Or John Rooney trying to make the call.
Well,
Get off the air.
no, he wasn't any better than Matt Millen. I mean, Matt Millen's a moron, obviously, but the guy didn't make the call. Matt Millen didn't say anything after he said a couple of unbelievables.
Well, he threw him off his game.
Whatever, but I mean, they're both awful. And Matt Millen, what a moron.
Good grief.
He's a good TV analyst, but you can't do the same thing on radio.
Why doesn't somebody say something to him?
Maybe they will now.
Hard to believe. Meanwhile, Tennessee will play the Colts in Indianapolis next Sunday. The other AFC game, Miami at Jacksonville, that's on Saturday. The two NFC games, Washington at Tampa Bay, Minnesota and St. Louis. So down to a final 8 in the NFL season.
Right.
And, of course, the big news from golf, Tiger Woods wins again. Second playoff hole, sank a 40-foot birdie putt to beat Ernie Els in the playoff. He's now won 5 straight tournaments, first to do that since Ben Hogan in '53. The record is 11 straight tournaments from Byron Nelson. And that's sports. I'm Mike Breen.
Imus in the morning.
Superstar homemaker Martha Stewart has been roasted as much as a field of free-range chickens, from lame Saturday Night Live skits to parody books. She's gotten her share of ribbing, but a billionaire on paper since her company went public on October 19th. She's been laughing all the way to the bank. Her how-to information can show up as magazine articles, web chat topics, or products on Kmart shelves, preferably all 3. The business empire is mushrooming. Her 1999 sales should be around $225 million. Now the challenge is to make sure Martha Stewart living Omnimedia can outlast Martha Stewart. When the girl croaked, they want the company to go on.
I understand that.
Business Week gets inside the growing kingdom of America's lifestyle queen in this week's cover story. Also in this week's issue, have interest rate hikes finally begun to take their toll on the markets? Business Week. Check it out online at businessweek.com and seize the week with Business Week. All right, let's see.
Join Club Ramada now, and every cool dip in our pool, every chill drink on our menu, every cozy night in our rooms will be even more rewarding. Club Ramada is free to join, and every dollar you spend will take you closer to great rewards like free nights, free flights, and free fun stuff for the whole family. Join Club Ramada, and earning great rewards will be easier than ever. For reservations, call 1-800-2-RAMADA or at ramada.com on the internet.
We got a great big convoy rocking through the night, yeah. We got a great big convoy. Ain't she a beautiful sight? Can you see it, mister? An army of Priceline.com users, millions strong. Naming our own price for airline tickets, hotel rooms, and more. We're saving a truckload of cash. Good buddy! You coming along for the ride? We're gonna roll this truckin' convoy across the USA. Convoy!
So, you've managed to point and click your way into too much debt.
Why not point and click your way out of debt with a second mortgage from Ditech.com? Whether you have equity or no equity, good credit or not so good credit, Ditech has a second mortgage with absolutely no closing costs to help you lower your monthly payments now. So point and click your way out of high-interest, non-tax deductible credit card debt at Ditech.com.
Or call us at 1-800-71-FIXED. Ditech.com.
Can't right now, Barkley. I'm stuck looking for insurance.
Now there's a faster, smarter, easier way to shop for insurance quotes. It's called ImsWeb. All the tools, information, and help you need to comparison shop for auto, life, health, home, even renter's insurance quotes. And it's free.
What is it, buddy? Whoa.
Auto, life, health, home, and renters. ImsWeb, where you and your insurance really click.
Now, what's your password?
The World Wide Web. 40 million sites. 800 million pages. 60 billion words. And one search engine that prioritizes, categorizes, and organizes it into neat little folders. Northern Light, just what you've been searching for.
Call you back.
We should go straight through.
This is the ship Wall Street said was sunk. They predicted a cruise industry slump, but Janice caught a winner they missed. One cruise line that checked out healthy from stem to stern. Janice even had travel agents confirm that it was fully booked for the next 2 years. Paid reservations mean healthy earnings. In one investment, Janice was happy to jump on board. Going somewhere? Get there. Janice Mutual Funds.
The Florida Keys and Key West provide sanctuary for an impressive variety of species, from those that are endangered to one that's just a little stressed out.
It was a moment of fear.
The whole thing is a damned lunatic affair.
A moment of courage.
This revolution is over.
A moment that would define a newborn nation.
The army will advance!
An A&E original movie presentation.
How dare you! No, sir, how dare you!
They needed a victory. They got a miracle.
Time, Alex. What is the time?
The Crossing, starring Jeff Daniels. Check your local listings.
Hi, Daddy. You wish you had a camera now, don't you?
A digital camera. It's a simple way to send photos over the internet.
640 by 480 resolution is fine for websites, but for larger formats, a million pixels is a good benchmark.
If learning about digital cameras were this easy, you wouldn't need a place like 800.com. But it isn't. So you do. 800.com. Everything you always wanted from an electronics store and more.
To me and the R&D team at International Paper, looks are just as important as content. So when an ice cream carton maker came to us for help, we created a container that's strong enough to make it from the dairy to your home. And the printing surface makes the ice cream look as good as it tastes.
Now remember, Daddy, save room for dinner.
How can we help your product look better? International Paper. From innovation to results.
Imus was brought to you in part by DLJ Direct, a Donaldson, Lufkin, and Jen Red company. It's about time we introduced ourselves.
Good morning, I'm Caroline Shively. Imus in the Morning will be right back after this check of the day's top stories. The world's largest media company and the world's biggest provider of internet access are merging. Nanette Hansen of NBC's Early Today show joins us with details.
Good morning, Caroline. Good morning, everybody. No doubt about it, this is one very big deal indeed, a media marriage of the old and the new. How big a deal is it? Well, lots of numbers are being bandied about this morning, but here's what we do know. By joining forces, America Online and Time Warner become a powerhouse global company in a deal estimated to be worth tens of billions of dollars. The new company will be called AOL Time Warner Inc. Now, this is a stock-for-stock deal where Time Warner shareholders will receive shares of AOL. So who will be in charge of the new company? Well, AOL's Steve Case will reportedly become the chairman of AOL Time Warner, while Time Warner's Gerald Levin will be the new company's CEO. AOL has been trying to upgrade its network because its 20 million customers are demanding faster access to content on the web. Time Warner is capable of handling the high-speed internet traffic that AOL craves. And it also has plenty of content to put on the web from its film studios, magazines, and TV networks. Caroline, back to you.
So, Nanette, what does this mean for the stock of these two companies today?
Well, that's a $64,000 question, if not higher, this morning. Time Warner, which trades under the symbol TWX, officially opens at 64 3/4. AOL officially opens at 73 3/4. But on the heels of the merger announcement, both companies are up sharply in Instinet or electronic trading. And by the way, an 11 a.m. Eastern Time news conference is expected, and CNBC on cable will have live interviews with Steve Case and Gerald Levin immediately following that big news conference this morning. Caroline?
All right, NBC's Nanette Hansen, thanks so much. More protests are expected in Havana today, where Cubans are demanding 6-year-old Elian Gonzalez be returned to his father. A candlelight vigil was held for the boy in Miami last night, and yesterday Elian attended Miami's Three Kings Day parade and met World Series pitching hero El Duque Orlando Hernandez. Still, Elian's fate remains in limbo. Immigration officials have said he should be sent back to Cuba by Friday. A congressional subpoena could keep him in the U.S. Peace talks between Israel and Syria appear to be winding down with no resolution. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright and Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak toured the Civil War battlefield at Antietam Creek yesterday. Last night, President Clinton met with Barak and Syrian Foreign Minister Farouk al-Shara in an attempt to narrow differences over what a spokesman called difficult and complex issues. Syria wants Israel to hand over the Golan Heights. Israel wants security guarantees. Emergency room doctors nationwide say hospitals are overwhelmed with people suffering from the flu. Officials with the Centers for Disease Control say 49 states have been struck by an early and severe outbreak of the virus. The flu bug is also striking around the world. British officials say they're seeing the worst flu outbreak since 1989, when 26,000 people died. High speed and high tech describe some of the concept cars unveiled at Detroit's auto show this weekend. Chrysler showed off the Viper GTSR, a 353 horsepower street legal racing car. It can do 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. And Ford unveiled the 24/7 concept vehicles. Voice controls on those vehicles run everything from the radio to internet access and video phone. Those are the headlines. I'm Caroline Shively. Greg Jarrett and Laurie Stokes will be back with Morning Line at the top of the hour. Now back to Imus.
Is your city looking at one of these to cut down on gridlock? The unseen dangers of high-speed commuter trains. On the news with Brian Williams tonight at 9 Eastern on MSNBC.
Overwhelmed by e-business? Don't be. Get the software, services, and partners that make it easier. The business internet. It starts with Microsoft.
When I was diagnosed with genital herpes, I was devastated. Then I found the power to take charge. I got information. I saw my doctor. I found out about suppressive therapy with Valtrex. Taking Valtrex just once a day helps suppress my genital herpes outbreaks.
Valtrex is the only prescription medication with once daily dosing to suppress genital herpes outbreaks.
I may have genital herpes, but I won't let it get me down.
Call this number for product information and a free trial offer coupon, or ask your doctor about suppression with Valtrex. Remember, even if you don't have symptoms and are on suppressive therapy, it may be possible to spread herpes to others. There is no cure for genital herpes, and remember, Valtrex may not prevent all recurrences. If your immune system is not normal because of advanced HIV disease, bone marrow, or kidney transplant, make sure your doctor knows this to avoid a potentially serious complication. Common side effects are headache, nausea, and abdominal pain.
Information is power. See your doctor. Genital herpes doesn't have to rule your life.
Ask your doctor about suppression with Valtrex.
You look a lot younger than he does.
Hi, I'm Mr. Morning. It's 5 minutes after the hour. Dana is going home to take care of her baby, which is not a bad idea.
It's a good idea, sure.
And I think we're promoting Kara to her position. We are promoting Kara to her position.
All right.
And which is probably a huge mistake, but we're going to anyway. And so we need somebody to take Kara's place.
Okay.
And the job doesn't pay a lot of money. It's an entry-level position. And here's why Kara is getting promoted. Because you have to be at the radio station at about, what time does Kara get here?
4:30.
4:30 every morning. And you have to have everything, you have to have the office opened up.
Mm-hmm.
And then what are her job duties? What does she do? And then she helps you.
Right. She does everything.
She does everything.
Logistics that need to be taken care of.
Goes and gets stuff, takes care of the commercials and all that stuff. And
sure.
So the job is like from 4:30 to
12:30.
12:30, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And she's never been late.
Once.
Ever.
No.
I don't think she's never missed a day, and she's never been late. And
she's clean and she doesn't smell.
Right. And if you want that job, call my office, and somebody will talk to you, Bernard, or somebody will talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
Carol will probably talk to you, and Bernard, or somebody. Dana may talk to you, but probably Bernard. Bernard and Carol will talk to you. Phil will talk to you.
Okay, all right.
Well,
My God.
Good Lord.
Holy.
However, don't call. The first time you're late, you're fired. The first day you miss, you're fired. So it's unacceptable. And we had a continuing problem with getting Bernard and Lou to show up on time. It's just
zero tolerance.
I don't have a lot of tolerance for this.
There are no.
It's not an abnormal, unusual request to require you to come to work on time.
It's not a 3 strikes you're out deal. It's a 1 strike.
But here's what happens. How long has Kara been in a job?
At least a year.
Oh, okay. So she's going to probably double her salary.
Yep.
In a year.
There you go.
Maybe close to that.
And get this.
She gets a much better job.
Yeah,
well, maybe not double it, but she's going to get more money, obviously.
Yeah, executive position.
Yeah.
And the girl who preceded her works for Access Hollywood.
Sure.
Exactly.
So it's a good place to be.
It's a great job.
You
but
bet.
And you can be of any sex or race or anything. We're an equal opportunity employer. And it doesn't make any difference to us. Believe me, it doesn't.
No, we're asexual, so it makes no difference.
It doesn't make any difference. The only requirement is you have to demonstrate to me that, we have to check you out, of course.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to pass a Bo Dietl private detective investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have to have some references. And you have to demonstrate to me that you can be on time and do what you're told to do.
That's all.
But it's a great job. So call the radio station and ask to speak to Bernard or ask to speak to Kara. It is 8 minutes after the hour, and Ron in Santa is he on the phone now?
He is now holding, yes.
All right, well, Ron.
Mr. Imus.
He's our financial guru from CNBC. Let me read this story to you and stop me when I've said something wrong.
All right.
Time Warner, the world's largest media and entertainment company, and America Online, the world's largest provider of Internet access, announced that they will merge in an all-stock deal valued at $350 billion.
Yes.
America's Online chairman and chief executive Steve Case expected to be named chairman of the merged company. Time Warner's chairman and chief executive Joe Levin would be the chief executive officer. Case said that this was a historic moment in which new media has truly come of age. The new company is to be called AOL Time Warner, Inc., and it will have combined revenues of over $30 billion. That's essentially it?
Yeah, that's essentially it. Yeah, it's a huge deal. I mean, it's, as we said before, it's monumental insofar as that it brings this very new media company into an already fully integrated old media company. So you have what people have been talking about for years, the idea of convergence, that an internet company and a media company that has cable television properties, a broadcast TV production facility, a movie studio, magazine publishing, that this is all going to be one large company that's going to have a lot of huge ability to integrate these various properties and leverage the content and leverage the brand names that they have into a pretty potent combination.
America Online being one of the few internet companies that actually is making any money.
And this is key. When you were asking me before about who else a traditional media company can merge with, the real problem that will ultimately take place is that when you try to buy another company for stock, if they're losing money, it hurts your bottom line in a big way. You cannot issue a lot of stock to buy a company that has persistent losses, where AOL has both revenues and profits. it makes it a lot easier to do a deal. So if you're going to go out and try to buy a Yahoo, which is likely going to make money if it's not making money already, it's still a lot more difficult if you're going to do an all-stock transaction to acquire an internet company that's not providing any profitability and is not going to be additive to the company's bottom line anytime in the near future.
Who's going to run the company?
Well, from the looks of it, it would still be Jerry Levin who would remain chief executive. The chief executive officer of a company always has day-to-day responsibilities, whereas the chairman might be a strategic thinker. He may be a visionary. He is ostensibly the boss. He is more the boss when he is chairman and CEO than when he's just chairman.
Well, what does Joe Levin know about America Online and what they do?
Well, Time Warner is not exactly an unsophisticated company. I mean, they have dedicated, I believe, $500 million to digital investments. He's a very smart executive. He's done a great job getting Time Warner to the place that all of its investors wanted it to be an integrated company that has, in fact, paid down its debt in an important way, has boosted its cash flow rather dramatically, has established a very strong foothold in cable television ownership. So he's not an unsophisticated CEO, and Time Warner has had its hand in some new media investments over the last several years with these various devices that allow internet access through cable television boxes and things like that.
I guess they could do what we did on a much grander scale out at the ranch. We didn't know how to run a bulldozer.
Mm-hmm.
We hired somebody who did.
Well, well,
I guess he could do that, couldn't he?
Well, he just did.
Yeah.
He just bought AOL. Or he just merged with AOL.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, absolutely. As you bring in the expertise, if you don't necessarily have it in-house. If it's going to grow organically, you go out and acquire it.
And it's going to trade under the symbol AOL.
Yeah.
Well, that's startling, isn't it?
That is a major development. Yeah, I mean, Time Warner then becomes, a different company with a much different feel. And I'm sure it's going to shake the traditional media world. I mean, now these big media companies, Walt Disney, NBC, which have already been active in internet-type operations, are going to scramble to see what they can do. They're going to decide if they have to do something to stay competitive. News Corp, which owns Fox, will be doing the same thing. And everybody's going to be talking to everybody, much as they have been now for a couple of years, and try to figure out which is the most appropriate platform to operate to leverage all your assets, both old media and new media.
And they're having a big press conference at 11 o'clock, and that'll be carried live on CNBC?
And I'm sure the executives will be joining us on CNBC as well. Yes, absolutely.
Well, what do you mean you're sure? Do you know they are, or you just
Well, I haven't spoken to anybody on this. Well, we never fail to do that, so that'll be part of the process. And we have good relationships with both companies, so I'm sure we'll be talking to them today.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah.
I think I actually saw Kamansky on your show one time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Our guy over at Merrill Lynch.
Yeah, he's a very nice man.
He's a great guy, by the way. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Ron.
My pleasure.
Ron and Santa from CNBC.
Yeah.
America Online, Time Warner merging, and a legitimate merger. It isn't. I mean, you would think just off the top of your head, if you're unsophisticated as I am, that Time Warner has bought this internet company, America Online. No, that's not what happened.
No.
That is not what happened. It is a new company.
Yeah. America Online, Time Warner.
AOL, Time Warner.
Yeah. And trade under AOL.
Time Warner is trading at over $100 in early trading, pre-market trading, and America Online is trading at $80 in pre-market trading, and that's up substantially from I think Time Warner was at around $79 or $80.
Yeah,
up 32%, up $32, I guess.
Gee gods!
So
that's a huge jump.
So somebody,
my God. Yeah,
somebody who had some early knowledge of this, man, please. But I was talking to somebody the other day, and with these people, there comes a point where they make so much money that it isn't even about. Well, it's not even about that anymore.
Sure,
it's not even relevant. So,
just a way of keeping score.
Yeah, it's just. All right, 14, almost 15 after the hour. What else going on, Chuck?
One of the biggest fears about the internet, I-Man, buying something online, then discovering your credit card information has been stolen. The New York Times front page story this morning reports a hacker, apparently somewhere in Eastern Europe, broke into the website of an internet music store called CD Universe. The Times says the hacker claims he stole the credit card numbers then of 300,000 customers. And then he tried to extort $100,000 out of CD Universe. They rebuffed him, and he allegedly posted then 25,000 of the names and numbers on a website. The site has since been shut down. CD Universe says it's telling its customers about the theft and is working with credit card companies to help those whose information was in fact stolen. And Israeli and Syrian leaders are wrapping up an inconclusive round of peace talks. They may meet again soon, though. An Israeli cabinet minister says Prime Minister Barak will probably meet with Syria's foreign minister at the end of this month or beginning of next, and says it depends on what progress is made in informal negotiations that will continue.
Tomorrow was Ken Starr, Jackie Bennett, and the rest of the people as dumb as we suspected they were? Was Michael Isikoff as big a creep as some of us suspected?
Yeah.
Was Linda Tripp as evil as we thought she was?
Yeah.
Did Hillary Clinton actually know what was going on? And what exactly did the president lie about? How incompetent were Paula Corbin Jones's lawyers, and how did it all really go down? And is Sidney Blumenthal the sniveling little snake that we all suspect that he is? All of those questions and some others will be answered tomorrow here on
Great.
the Imus Morning Program, and our conversation with Jeffrey Toobin, whose new book, A Vast Conspiracy, at least has had me riveted for a couple of nights because it's just a fabulous account of what really happened, and by a seasoned journalist and attorney. And you know, he wrote the O.J. Simpson book, A Run for His Life, and he's a bright guy, writes for the New Yorker. And so, unlike some of these books where these folks a year or so after the event try to cash in, this is a guy who's taken a fairly objective view of what actually happened and put it in some sort of perspective where it's maddening to really see how just hideously, astonishingly incompetent Ken Starr and those other buffoons in his office actually were, and how they literally, and this is an unfortunate phrase, how they literally blew this case.
Oh.
You know?
Dumb and Dumber?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And poor old Bob Bennett comes off as being essentially about as smart as we all thought he was. But he still got hoodwinked by his own client in a number of cases. David Kendall, another guy you'd like to punch in the mouth just because he looks like a smarmy little jerk, reveals himself to be what he is, and that's
a smarmy little jerk.
A smarmy little jerk. So, great book, A Vast Conspiracy, Jeffrey Toobin. I mean, it'll keep you up 2 or 3 nights reading it. So, anyway, Jeffrey's coming up tomorrow. Fred Imus and Boomer Esiason and Reverend Al Sharpton. And a Dixie Chicks song parody. All coming up, so. This show's hardly over this morning. It's been pretty good so far.
Together again.
Schmuck Owens here.
My tears have stopped falling. The long, lonely nights are now at an end. The key to my heart you hold in your hand, and nothing else matters. We're together again.
Imus in the morning.
Hi, I'm David Orrick, and you won't believe it.
You want to get rid of pork in Washington, stop feeding the hog.
At the beginning of the show. No, I don't, because I have never launched a personal negative attack, and I never will.
The presidential race gets serious, and MSNBC is your place to find out more about the issues and the candidates, with complete coverage of the Iowa caucus, the critical New Hampshire primary, and the entire primary season. For the experience, the perspective, and analysis of NBC News, turn to MSNBC, your place to follow the race. Is your city looking at one of these to cut down on gridlock? The unseen dangers of high-speed commuter trains. On the news with Brian Williams tonight at 9 Eastern on MSNBC.
I just learned the secret to saving money on term life insurance. This. It's your insurance fingerprint. All the personal data each life insurance company uses to set your price. Problem is, different insurance companies charge different prices. So your fingerprint can cost hundreds of dollars more at one company than another. The secret to saving money is finding your best match. And that's where SelectQuote comes in. Just call or click on SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote will match your fingerprint with your best policy and price from the pick of over 1,700 term life companies. Then you can buy your policy from home and never see a salesperson. Nobody has SelectQuote's experience and expertise in finding your best match for term life insurance. And it couldn't be easier. So remember this. For your one-of-a-kind savings, call toll-free or click on SelectQuote.com.
Come on. Yes. Come on. Darn!
At ZDNet, we'll help you get more out of technology.
Let's do this. Yes, ma'am.
ZDNet.com, where technology takes you.
Son, can I try that out?
No.
What would it be worth to wake up in a great mood?
I'm in a great mood!
Because you had a good night's sleep.
I slept like a baby!
In a nice, comfortable room.
What a room, yeah!
How about 10% off?
Hey, I like that 10%!
With Super 8's VIP card, it's yours, guaranteed.
VIP, that's me!
At over 1,800 locations. Clean, friendly Super 8.
Clean, friendly, yeah!
Super 8, all the room you want.
Yeah!
We started out a pretty small business, but it sure wasn't small to us. We needed help, financial help. That's just what we got from the people at American Express Small Business Services. We got equipment financing for bigger stoves and faster computers, a line of credit to keep our cash flow flowing, plus the buying power to help our business grow. 1-800-SUCCESS was the best call we ever made. Like my father says, you can do anything you set your mind to, but you can't do it alone. He's right.
Hoover Wind Tunnel Vacuum. Diamond Rio MP3 player.
We can get to
and music to make your time more harmonious. Best Buy. Turn on the fun.
Get more from your lunch break. Log on to MSNBC.com for the latest news, weather, sports, and business news. Plus stock quotes, shopping, travel tips, and even help for healthier living. Log on and work smarter with MSNBC.com.
She was a Philadelphia girl destined for stardom and a fairy tale life.
Thank you with all my heart to all who made this possible for me.
But hidden insecurity, inescapable controversy, and unrelenting publicity would ultimately define Grace Kelly.
Headliners and Legends with Matt Lauer tomorrow at 10 on MSNBC.
It's cloudy, 45 degrees. This report's brought to you by the National Kidney Foundation of New York and New Jersey. Donate your used car to a local charity you know and trust. The National Kidney Foundation of New York and New Jersey. You may receive a tax deduction. Call 1-800-63-DONATE. I'm Lori McNichol for the Toyota Fan Highway Patrol.
All right, here now, our guy, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Well, the new millennium hasn't exactly gotten off to a banner start for the cause of minorities. Every step forward, like the television networks agreeing to hire more of us, is met by 2 steps backward due to the loose lips of idiots like that fat James Brown-looking Donna Brazile and that left-handed loser John Rocker. Baseball Commissioner Bud Selig announced that Rocker was going to have to undergo psychological testing in light of the racist and homophobic comments the Atlanta Braves pitcher made in Sports Illustrated last month. Well, isn't it painfully apparent that any man who calls a fellow black teammate a fat monkey is a couple of relievers short of a bullpen? Not that it's much of a surprise. Anybody who plays for a team where the owners and fans alike join in that degrading ritual called the tomahawk chop ain't exactly what I'd call racially enlightened. But this fat retard has obviously been hit in the head by a line drive or something. So why has it taken Selig so long to do anything about it? And why be so sympathetic to the Cracker Peckerwood anyway? He don't need to lay out on no psychiatrist's couch. He needs some psycho brother to lay him out and make him say, ouch. He need an Oriental woman to run his ass over with a Land Rover. One of them queers with AIDS he complained about should take his pink dinker and put a kink in his sphincter. But worse than Rocker, a greater problem exists when one of our own starts putting her fat ass in the way of racial progress. Back in October, when Donna Brazile was named Gore's national campaign manager, she was described as loose, charismatic, chatty, and vibrant. Well, now we discover that it's the loose and chatty part that's gonna be trouble. Upon taking the job, she said the Gore campaign was gonna be energized from the bottom up. Well, that much is true, because apparently she's leading with her asshole, as she effectively referred to black Republicans such as Colin Powell and J.C. Watts as tokens, trotted out by the party for photo ops. While the girl got to play the race card. This ain't Pokemon, bitch. This is politics. And there's plenty of stuff to hammer the GOP about without having to bring color into the deal. How about all them log cabin Republicans? Or are you more concerned with losing them flannel shirt-wearing, breakfast sausage-eating lumberjacks than you are with alienating your own people? Sorry, that was not very enlightened of me. In my outrage, I resorted to John Rocker-like thinking. But, by the way, that boy couldn't do no worse running Gore's campaign than Florida from Good Times is. In fact, the vice president should consider moving his headquarters from Nashville to Atlanta, where he can portray himself as Rhett Butler, while Miss Brazile runs around the plantation like a cross between Mammy and Prissy, screaming, I don't know nothing about birthing candidates. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a
Reverend Al Sharpton here on the Imus in the Morning program.
God.
Well, 27 after the hour. So, apparently, Rolling Stone is revealing that Melissa Etheridge and Lou Diamond Phillips' ex-wife, who are an item, have revealed now that the father of Melissa's children,
Mrs. Grimm,
is David Crosby.
Yep.
Great. And, of course, the speculation was that it was,
Brad Pitt.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah. But no.
Springsteen.
A fat, out of control.
Yeah.
Let's see. A handsome nuclear physicist? No.
Alcoholic drug addict.
Fat, sloppy junkie. That's one I'll go with.
Who is marginally talented, by the way. David Crosby.
Melissa Etheridge's quote here, among them in the Rolling Stone magazine, is, "We did not use a turkey baster." Her partner, Julie Cypher, emphasizes, yes, no kitchen implements were used. And that David Crosby provided the necessary material at the suggestion of his wife, a friend of the lesbian couple, Julie Cypher and Melissa Etheridge.
Melissa Etheridge said that David Crosby was musical, which is debatable.
Well.
Could anybody in that band sing, actually? When you get to thinking about it.
It'll suck.
I mean, they just, Stephen Stills, he went, or who's the whining, I can't think, just.
Graham Nash.
Yeah.
Neil Young.
Neil Young.
Neil Young, yeah.
I mean, they're just. They're together, I guess they managed to make a couple of pretty decent records, but.
This is interesting.
They could never perform them anywhere.
Crosby, whose cocaine and alcohol addictions in the past forced him to get a liver transplant, is described as having been clean and sober when he provided the semen necessary, and the lesbian couple was assured that 3-year-old Bailey and 1-year-old Beckett would be born without birth defects, from the father having been otherwise something other than clean and sober, I suppose.
Yeah.
So it all worked out well.
Better country.
There you go.
This fat junkie's choking his chicken into a test tube so some lesbian can have a family.
I mean,
Lord.
you can't make it up, can you? You can't make it up.
Thank you, Bernard. That puts a fine point on it.
A fat junkie chugging his chicken into a nest because the lesbian can have a baby. Amen.
Yahoo! The holidays are finally over.
The Republican race heats up.
I don't trust the plan that you're outlining.
And Monday night, the candidates return. Tim Russert hosts the Michigan debate. Tonight, 7 Eastern on MSNBC.
Can't right now, Barkley. I'm stuck looking for insurance.
Now there's a faster, smarter, easier way to shop for insurance quotes. It's called InsWeb. All the tools, information, and help you need to comparison shop for auto, life, health, home, even renter's insurance quotes. And it's free.
What is it, buddy?
Whoa.
Auto, life, health, home, and renters. InsWeb, where you and your insurance really click.
Now, what's your password?
What? They gave our room away?
Not what you want to hear. Then Super 8's where you want to stay, where VIP members get guaranteed rooms and 10% off. Clean, friendly Super 8. All the room you want.
So, you've managed to point and click your way into too much debt.
Why not point and click your way out of debt with a second mortgage from Ditech.com? Whether you have equity or no equity, good credit or not so good credit, Ditech has a second mortgage with absolutely no closing costs to help you lower your monthly payments now. So point and click your way out of high-interest, non-tax deductible credit card debt at Ditech.com.
Or call us at 1-800-71-FIXED. Ditech.com.
It was a moment of fear.
The whole thing is a damned lunatic affair.
A moment of courage.
This revolution is over.
A moment that would define a newborn nation.
The army will advance!
An A&E original movie presentation.
How dare you? No, sir, how dare you?
They needed a victory. They got a miracle.
Time, Alex. What is the time?
The Crossing, starring Jeff Daniels. Check your local listings.
At ZDNet, we'll help you get more out of technology. ZDNet.com, where technology takes you.
Nice.
In time, the spy so slowly in time can do.
Welcome to the internet, home to millions of fascinating websites. And this one. It's your internet. We just connect you to it. Earthlink and Sprint are internet partners.
That's a component video cable. Goes from the DVD player to the TV.
He hasn't spoken in nearly 5 years.
And for optimal sound, make sure the digital audio output is connected to the receiver.
If setting up that new home theater were this easy, you wouldn't need a place like 800.com. But it isn't.
This is great.
So you do.
Thanks for your help, Grandpa. Grandpa?
800.com. Everything you always wanted from an electronics store and more.
Grandpa?
Shopping for office supplies is easy at OfficeMax. Shop by fax, by phone, on the internet at OfficeMax.com, or the good old-fashioned way, by foot. Whichever way you choose, we go to the max for you.
Paciaro and I was complaining about these headphones we use and the fact both Charles and my hearing has been destroyed, essentially, from wearing headphones all these years.
Yeah.
And so I went to see, what's her name, over at Dr. Corbin's office at Carlisle Sound, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they made some hearing aids for me, which I didn't like. So then now they're making some other ones, and I probably won't like them.
I'm sure you won't.
But I can hear fine if we're sitting in a room talking. But if you try to talk to me from another room, or your back's to me, or you don't speak in just a normal voice, I can't hear you. Charles can't even hear a regular conversation.
That's true.
Can you?
What? You son of a gun.
So this woman by the name of Ellen Kelly, who's a clinical audiologist with the Center for Speech and Hearing Sciences out in New Jersey, sent me a pair of headphones. And now, why are you on the phone now, Ellen?
Well, good morning.
Right.
My husband heard you say they were a little bright, and I just wanted
they're
to...
too shrill.
Yeah, push them in.
What?
Otherwise, the low end kind of leaks out of them. I mean, they are a brighter headphone than some other headphones. Definitely plays into the acoustics of the earphone. So, essentially the first time people use them, they tend to be afraid to put them in, and they'll say they're kind of bright. And then when they push them in further, or they get that custom mold, they bring that low end back.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to find out if you're lying or not.
Oh, God.
It is 23 till the hour here on the Imus Morning Program, and now live from the ranch in Ribera, New Mexico, the Imus Ranch. Sponsored by Jeep is my brother, Fred Imus. Good morning, Mr. Imus.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine. Hearing, not being able to hear makes you irritable. I had like the flu kind of settled in my ears, and I couldn't hear for about for a week. So I understand. I'm more compassionate towards your problem now, because it does irritate you not to be able to hear very well.
Well, I'm now shoving these in my ear farther than before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you just till it comes out the other side.
Did you just go yuck, Bernard?
Yeah, just the idea. What are they going to look like when you take them out?
Did you hear, Fred, that Melissa Etheridge and what's the woman, Lou Diamond Phillips' former wife, what's her name?
Julie Cypher.
They are lesbians. And they have 2 children. Miss Etheridge the singer Miss Etheridge had 2 children. And they revealed that the father of them was David Crosby.
That's scary.
Isn't it?
Why would they pick him? I mean, there probably a lot of choices they would have.
Well, I don't know. The speculation over the past couple of years has been everybody from, Brad Pitt to
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen,
Yeah.
But no, they got a fat drug addict drunk.
Jeez.
No talent, fat drug addict drunk.
Should have picked one of the Eagles.
I'd have picked Don Henley, wouldn't you?
That's who I'd have picked, or any of the Eagles.
Somebody could sing.
I'd have picked Henley.
Yeah.
But we don't know if we could get Henley to...
He would have been willing to...
Give us a squirt.
to do that.
Well, it's a test tube situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't actually do it, right?
No.
Oh.
Oh, God.
No, God. Please. I mean, don't even conjure up that image of David Crosby and Melissa Etheridge.
Yeah.
And that's like that's like Monica. That's like the image of Bill Clinton with his shirt off.
Well, who actually carried the children? Did Melissa or
Melissa
or did Julie Cypher?
No, Julie Cypher.
I thought it was
Julie Cypher did.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
She carried the.
Oh, we'll see that.
Yeah.
Well, Lou Diamond Phillips liked her well enough, so.
He must feel real good.
Yeah.
That was a great. Well, that's got to be. That's got to be somewhat of a blow to your ego, to your. If your wife says to you, I mean, nothing really against you. It's just that, this is not working, and I'm going to leave you for her.
I mean, it's really not working.
It's not because you have a little tiny penis. And you can't get it done.
Oh, man.
Some more coffee in there. So. Well, man, that's got to be an ugly situation. Now, I have these ear things shoved in my ear about as far as I can get them without injuring myself.
Bringing any bottom back?
Well, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are to shrill. She's right.
Okay.
Very nice of these people. This Ellen Kelly, by the way, and the people that's the Center for Speech and Hearing Sciences, because these look like these are probably Oh, I don't know, $200-300.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're supposed to be very good.
So tomorrow's Fred's birthday.
41.
Yeah. And Fred, of course, for my birthday, gave me took a number of years to get it. 6 or 7 years, actually, to get it.
I remember, yeah.
But a 55 Cameo pickup that he had restored by these two deliverance-like goobers down in El Paso, Texas, cleaning and key to Street Rods USA, and it's a beautiful truck. And the horseless carriage people brought it back to, it's in the garage in Westport.
Yeah.
And I never drive it because I'm never there. So I got a call from a guy, Fred, out in Rancho Santa Fe, California.
You know, that's where those people took that trip, you know. Those weirdos that they found with the Nike shoes on laying in their bunks.
Hell Bob.
Oh, was
Hale Bob,
was
yeah.
that the Hale Bob place?
Rancho Santa Fe, was it?
By golly, you're right. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rancho Santa Fe.
Well, this guy's name is William Sharon and William Bauce at the Flying Bee Ranch out there.
Well, just as long as it ain't Bo and Peep, we're fine. You know what I mean?
And he says, I understand you want to sell your truck for $100,000 and the money to go to the ranch. And I said, yeah, that's right. He said, I'd like to buy it. I said, send me a check.
Yeah. Well, guess what?
I gave him my address and hung up. So the conversation was 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And then by Federal Express, here comes the check. So the check I haven't deposited it yet, but you wouldn't think a guy'd send me a check that's going to bounce.
No, I would not. I'd be shocked.
So I'm selling the truck you gave me, Fred. But the money's going to the ranch. So
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that.
it's not like I'm keeping the money myself.
I understand.
Okay.
I'm fine with it.
Now, my brother, I have a 94 Lightning, so I asked my brother when I was out at the ranch, my brother has, how many pickups do you have? 4 or 5 pickups.
Yeah.
So I said, what do you want for your birthday? He says, your pickup.
Your 94 Lightning?
Yeah.
That gorgeous black Lightning?
Right.
Jeez.
Well, the answer is no.
Well, I would hope. Come on.
You suck.
So Deidre, we went up to Bill Culp Jr. Ford yesterday, or Saturday, and Deidre bought
Show sucks.
Deidre bought one of those new F-150s.
Yeah.
With the off-road stuff, all that.
Beautiful truck. Yeah, they are really good looking.
But she has to have it painted some, I don't know.
Some special
Don't
brand?
repaint it.
Well, she wants a yellow one for some reason.
Well, get the yellow that they have available.
The Ford people?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the football games over the weekend, you had 2 right and 2 wrong.
Yes, I did.
I had 3 right and 1 wrong.
Huh. But I was, I was on the fence about that Seattle-Miami game. I mean, I did pick Seattle, but I wanted Miami to win because of Marino and stuff. I wanted to have a good game. And he did have a good game. And their defense was unbelievable.
Well. Yep.
Dallas just don't get the message. You know, Jerry Jones talked to him last week, said they weren't earning the money that he was paying them.
No.
I mean, what do you think his conversation is with him today? It's not going to be a pleasant time in the Dallas locker room this morning.
No.
Good.
You know, they didn't earn the money a week ago. What do you think happened yesterday? They damn sure didn't earn it.
No.
There's going to be some changes in pro football. You watch. They're going to quit giving these big signing bonuses and paying these guys all this money and then have them not earn it.
Right.
Oh.
How about the guy you were screaming about all last year, Ricky Williams?
Well, I would have picked, I said this before the draft, that I would have picked Edwin James anyway over Ricky Williams. I wouldn't have traded my future for Ricky Williams.
You never mentioned Edwin James's name.
It's the first we've heard of this.
You never even knew who he was. This is a guy who went to the Colts. You never even knew who he was. You never mentioned his name, ever.
Not once.
Not once.
I bet I know who he is now.
Well, he folds quickly. That's right. Quick learner. Quick study.
God almighty.
I didn't believe that. I didn't believe that teams should trade their future for a running back when there's always 5 or 6 good running backs out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was just idiotic. But he did it. Where is he now?
Huh?
There's a guy. Here's a guy. You know, they ought to actually prosecute him, you know, for screwing the team up, and then they fire the guy, and he walks away from the situation, leaves the team with a running back that they traded everything for, that's hurt all the time. They should actually sue him. The Saints should sue Ditka.
And they're talking about what a great guy Ricky Williams is, and I'm sure he is. You know, he's a great guy primarily because he hasn't beat up his girlfriend or smoked crack or stolen clothes.
Yep.
Maybe the problem in itself, you know.
You know, the guy's got no.
The guy's got a little criminal record. He can't play.
Right.
You know?
No edge.
He's not willing to push the envelope. He's breaking into houses when
no
he's not
edge,
practicing.
Lou.
No football player
Not
does
hungry.
that. Come on. Is he a football player or not?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you're not willing to take a chance breaking into somebody's house,
Yeah.
you're not willing to take a chance on the field.
No guts, no glory.
That's exactly right. If you're not, if you're not willing to buy an eighth from somebody you just met at the airport,
Carjack somebody.
carjack somebody, and smack somebody in the face with a gun
On the way to the stadium.
Yeah.
And you don't want the dope. You don't want the guys that take the dope, because that's just stupid, you know.
Yeah.
You want the real criminal element that actually go out.
You want the assault guys.
Yeah, you want the assault guy. I mean, that's the mentality you need for a linebacker. If a guy ain't willing to assault somebody on the street, who the hell's he going to tackle on the field?
A violent felon.
That's a very, very good point. And something, you know.
I mean, it's just a mentality. That's all. I don't blame him. You know, I'm not criticizing players that get in trouble for assaulting somebody, because that's the edge you need to play linebacker.
The NFL is thrilled with Fred.
I'm imagining Jeep is too.
You know, they want these overcrowded prisons. Let's open them up and put them on the field.
I mean, if they want to expand the league,
sure.
You know, just go down to Angola. You got a team. I bet you can put together a team at Angola prison. Don't you think? Well, of course you could.
Absolutely.
Of course you could.
Conference.
All right. Coming up this weekend, we have Miami will play, I don't know. Jacksonville. Who do you like there?
Oh, I don't know yet. I have to look and see how bad Jacksonville's banged up. You know, I have to look at the injury report before I say anything about that.
Who's going to play the Rams?
Miami.
They are?
No.
Oh.
Not even in the same conference.
Oh, wait a minute. I got confused.
It's another M word.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
The Twins.
They're going to go play the Rams.
Yeah, Rams got too many horses.
Okay. And now who else?
The other game, Washington at Tampa Bay.
Washington could win that game.
No.
Tampa Bay's got a pretty good D.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
It's going to be the Buccaneers and the Titans.
Oh, it is?
In the Super Bowl.
Who do the Titans play?
Titans play Indy.
They will not beat them.
All right.
So, in Indianapolis.
Yep.
They will not beat Peyton Manning and Edgerrin James and those people.
Ain't going to happen?
No.
Okay.
Fred's favorite running back.
Fred thought it was a Kenny Rogers song. Edgerrin James. What the hell it was. Well, all right. Did you ever find out the guy's name owns that Dead Horse Ranch?
Yeah, I know him.
What's his name?
Pete.
Yeah, Stinky Pete.
All right.
One of the founding
Dead Horse.
One of the founding members of Goldman Sachs, right?
I think so, yeah.
Where is the guy?
Well, I don't know. I don't know where he is. He doesn't live there all the time.
Has he ever lived there?
Well, he comes out quite often, yes. I mean, last summer I saw him 2 or 3 times.
The Dead Horse Ranch
Went to club, you know.
Is across the ranch from the Imus Ranch.
Yeah.
They have a pretty big layout over there. I don't know what they do over there. It's not a ranch like ours, but I mean, it's
cutting
horses.
horses.
It's a hobby, it looks like.
They train cutting horses, right? And the guy just spends a bunch of money on nothing.
No.
All right. It's an interesting place to visit, though.
Now back to the Melissa Etheridge, Julie Stein, another name?
Cipher.
Huh?
Cipher.
Julie Cipher, interesting name.
As in zero.
She was married. Do you know who Lou Diamond Phillips is, Fred?
No.
Well, okay. Well, he's one of these. Well, he's one of these actors out of the, the Brad Pitt school, isn't he? It was one of those. Not like Brad Pitt, but.
Brad Pitt has a school?
What do you know? He might.
Yes, he does.
But he's one of those brat packers, isn't he? Kind of.
I fall into that category.
He played the Richie Havens role.
Right.
Right. It's like a Mexican American.
Yeah.
Right.
Havens. Yeah, man. Richie
It was his wife, Fred, who said to him, "I'm out of here. I've fallen in love with Melissa Etheridge."
Must have been a painful day.
Can't you imagine?
Too bad he could have kept them both.
And then, of course, we decided to get David Crosby to father the children.
That's right.
Just to punish yourself, I guess, right? Let's see, let me get somebody from hell to have this baby.
Right. There are billions of people on the planet.
Yeah.
But,
well, I'll get David Crosby. God almighty. I mean, do you get that?
No, I really don't. When there's a lot of other choices, especially isn't the guy's body just about shot from all the drugs and alcohol?
A liver transplant.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just a total mess.
There's a couple of billion choices.
Yeah.
The kids won't be too screwed up.
No. Oh no, they're going to be great.
Just fine.
David Crosby.
I don't know.
Mom, I found Mommy's penis in the bathroom. She forgot to put it away.
Oh, man, I mean. Yeah, I don't know. All right, Fred.
What's that buzzing sound coming from the room all night long?
Go buzz.
Well, I love you, Fred. We'll call you
I love
later.
you. I'll talk to you later.
Well, big birthday tomorrow, Fred.
Yeah,
so
41.
All right.
We'll be on the phone with you then.
All right.
7 till the hour here now.
Imus in the morning.
All right. All right. Martha Stewart is on the cover of Business Week, and folks been wolfing on her for some time now, but she'd be a billionaire on paper since her company went public on October 19th. Martha Stewart's laughing all the way to the bank. Her how-to information can show up as magazine articles, web chat topics, products on Kmart shelves, maybe sometimes all three. Her business empire mushrooming. 1999, you ought to do on $225 million. Now the challenge is to make sure Martha Stewart living omnimedia can outlast a girl herself. Business Week gets inside the growing kingdom of America's lifestyle queen in this week's cover story. Business Week. Check it out online at businessweek.com and seize the week with Business Week.
Imus!
God's will for you, I think, is found in where you are. Like in your instance, you are a husband, and you are a father, and you're a radio personality. I think God's will is for you to examine. What?
I'm an author and I'm on TV.
Winning pitcher in the game was Fred Imus lookalike Randy Johnson, who threw a two-hitter in that shutout there for the Mariners. Good victory for the Mariners.
Don't be disparaging my brother.
Or Randy Johnson.
Or
Crying out loud.
The Oak Ridge boys are here, if y'all on the radio across the country, and both of you watching on MSNBC. Is there a dumber person than Bill Walton?
No, there's not. No, there just isn't. That's a terrible call. Oh, how can Michael Jordan be on the bench at this time? That's a